Arsenal 3, Man United 2, and I have to say, I now believe Arsenal are going to win the league. What a game of football that was to watch from a neutral's perspective. Arsenal against Man United, a throwback to the mid-noughties where the teams were going at it constantly for the league title time after time again. Wenger versus Ferguson, the battle, the rivalry, the history, and all of that build-up going into this game, and it definitely didn't disappoint. I thought Arsenal just edged the game in the end, to be fair. Although Man United definitely came and gave Arsenal a terrific game. I think they were definitely more defensive, trying to play more on the counter-attack, but there were definitely spells where United did really well, controlled the game. And honestly, I think Arsenal deserved it on the balance of play. I think they were more attacking, they wanted it more, the play was better, they defended more resolutely. The fans were behind the team 100%. There was those moments where Arsenal conceded a goal, and then you could hear the crowd immediately shouting Arsenal, Arsenal, and going after and supporting their team and getting behind the lads and just saying it doesn't matter, we've just conceded a goal, go again, we're fine. And that belief and determination from the fans filtered down into the players, and the manager on the sideline was also amazing, and it led to an Arsenal victory. And like I said, I now firmly believe Arsenal are going to win the league. There, I said it, it's on record. And why wouldn't you, considering how they're playing? They're playing so much better than everyone else in the league. I think Manchester City, of course, I still think they're the only team who can catch them up. And obviously United losing today showed they're probably not in the title race. But I think Arsenal are going to win the league. I think they're playing so much better than Man City at this moment in time. Man City defensively look all over the place. Attackingly, of course, they're always amazing. You got Erling Haaland at the top end of the pitch. Of course, they're going to be amazing. Just scored another hat-trick against Wolves. Scored 25 goals so far this season in the league. And he's going to be unstoppable. And it's going to be so interesting when Man City play Arsenal. But that's for the future. I think the game started off really well from the Arsenal perspective. I think the fact that they were going at it, it was a high tempo, getting early corners, getting this cross in, Martinelli down the left initially was amazing. And the game started off 100 miles an hour, and exactly what you wanted. And I think United then went down the other end with Bruno Fernandes, and they had a weak claim for a penalty shot, which I definitely don't think was a penalty, and it got waved away, and then Arsenal kept on going. And United definitely looked resolute. The defence has come a long way since Erik ten Hag's come into the side, with the likes of Luke Shaw, Martinez, Varane. I mean, even David De Gea, who's got a lot of criticisms last season and a little bit this season still, but they're all doing really well. And in the end, it was actually United slightly against the run of play who got the lead, and Marcus Rashford is just incredible at this moment in time. I mean, where would United be without Marcus Rashford? He is amazing. He is the man in form, and you give him the ball, and the way he just skips past Thomas Partey, who has had an incredible season himself, arguably the best defensive midfielder in the league, and he just right foot to left foot, glides past Partey, and then the run by Weghorst to take the Gabriel slightly away from Rashford so he doesn't close him down. Rashford with a shot, and then you just kind of have a feeling that, you know, Marcus Rashford is going to score because of the rich vein of form he's in at the moment, the way he shoots the ball, the way he gets the curve and a bit of dip and swivel, and it always makes it difficult for a keeper, the fact that they can't even catch it normally, a bit Ronaldo-esque, ironically enough. And at the moment the ball left his foot, you knew he was going to score, and he did. And it came slightly against run the play, like I said, but you didn't doubt that Arsenal were going to come back into the game, and that's exactly what they did. And the fact that Arsenal kind of worked the corner, they kind of came out, and all of a sudden the ball comes into the box, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I have to say, is from a player who almost looked like he was going to be leaving the club when Erik ten Hag came in, having not played for months and months, and Diego Dallo playing the whole season up to a point until the World Cup. And then, of course, Dallo gets injured, Wan-Bissaka comes in, does incredibly well up to this point. I think he was at fault for a goal in their last game, because I think defensively he wasn't quite good enough. And for a player who is more defensive than they are attacking, the fact that they can't defend the ball at the back post is kind of worrying, especially because his defence is his strong suit, and you'd expect him to do better than that. But it cost him, Wan-Bissaka at the back post, when the cross comes in from the other side, is an issue we saw last season as well. And I know as a fullback myself that it's not the easiest ball to defend, and it's actually one of my weaknesses as well. But Wan-Bissaka's a professional footballer playing for Man United. He needs to cut it out. And Eddie Nketiah, just what a play. The fact that he's coming in for Gabriel Jesus. A lot of people were saying Arsenal need to sign a striker because without Jesus, they're not going to be the same team. and he's just proved everyone wrong because he just comes off Wan-Bissaka's blind side. Wan-Bissaka doesn't track the run, and Erik Nketiah with the lovely cushion header into the goal, and all of a sudden 1-1. And then the game kind of calms down for the rest of the first half, as you see United and Arsenal both slowing down the play, trying to get the ball on the feet. And the slower game definitely suited Man United. I think there was a tempo that they were definitely more comfortable with playing. And I think the faster, high-paced tempo definitely suits Arsenal more because of the fact that they've got terrific passes in the team. Like Martin Odegaard again had an amazing game. Zinchenko, a left back who I think is quite underrated actually. I mean, he's come in from Man City, and sometimes I do question him defensively, but on the ball he's incredible. And Xhaka kept on finding pockets of space in that midfield, and there was no Man United midfielder tracking him really. Just the ball around the corner, ball out wide. Xhaka was incredible in everywhere. Going into half time, you definitely think, oh, despite United scoring first and Arsenal coming back, you then think, oh, momentum is Arsenal. But it's actually United at the end of the first half who actually played really well just to take the sting out of Arsenal a little bit and, you know, calm the crowd down a little bit. But then going into the second half, Ben White came off for Tomiyasu, which I think was definitely the right choice because it's a cliche, I know, but like as soon as a fullback is yellow carded in the first half, everyone goes, right, whoever the winger is, and especially when it's Marcus Rashford in the form he's in, run at him, try and get a foul out of him, try and get him booked and sent off. And I think to Arteta's credit, he said no and brought on Tomiyasu straight away. Ben White came off, and I think it showed because Tomiyasu actually did pretty well against Rashford at that point. And then all of a sudden Arsenal take the lead and it goes 2-1 because with Bukayo Saka is another player who, and it's so good to see that Rashford and Saka as an England fan are doing so amazingly for the clubs. But Luke Shaw, who I thought did really well against Saka in the first half, has to get a little bit of the blame for that Saka goal because you need to get tighter and you can't let him just run at you. And of course it's Saka, and a bit like Rashford I was saying, Saka's in a great run of form at the moment, but to let him cut inside on the stronger foot and then no help from the midfield really, and then to just take that shot and score, I think what a wonderful finish it was. And again, a similar celebration to Marcus Rashford, but again, what a wonderful strike. And you think to yourself, right, this is the moment where Arsenal are now going to put the pressure on United and they're going to score one more and get away. And again, the game takes another turn, and really there's a set piece which both teams really didn't utilise so far in that game up to that point. Eriksen puts the ball into the box, and it is actually Tomiyasu who got in the way of Ramsdale of getting that ball cleanly. And I think there's definitely a tactic from both teams to crowd each other's keepers, and I think when you got the tall physical players that both teams have, it definitely seemed to be effective, and it showed in the fact that Tomiyasu got in Ramsdale's way, and it was actually Martinez was a wonderful header, and I don't know if he even meant it intentionally, but to scoop the ball up into the air to bypass Ramsdale on the floor and the Arsenal defence. And then I can't even remember who it was on the line for Arsenal, but the fact that they just couldn't get enough power into their jump to try and head it out. And then it goes 2-2, and then the game's wide open again. And at that point, it was definitely a cracker of a game. It reminds me of Arsenal City in the most recent years, and the fact that both teams trying to go for the title. Maybe not Man United at this moment in time, but two excellent teams giving 100%. And it was just a wonderful game of football to watch from a neutral. And then from there onwards, it was all Arsenal. Completely and utterly. And Man United just defended and dropped off. And I think Ten Hag made a sensible substitution in bringing Fred on for Anthony. Because I think Anthony at that point had played really well. He kept on driving at Zinchenko, but he didn't go past him. And I think we saw that at a moment in the second half where Weghorst had a lovely touch, and then he played the ball into Anthony, and Anthony took the ball with him and went right past Zinchenko. But unfortunately, he saw Thomas Partey cleaning up behind him, and he just completely took the ball off Anthony. And it showed that he doesn't really quite have that turn of pace, and he's more of a skillful, tricky player than that. But yeah, bringing Fred on, and then he could double team Saka, because that was definitely what was needed. Because the fact that Saka could just keep on cutting inside on his left foot, and that kind of prevented that from happening. But then what happened was Martinelli down their left was just incredible. He kept on going at Wan-Bissaka, and to Wan-Bissaka's credit, I gave him a bit of grief for the first half and the first goal that Erik Nketiah scored, but to then do really well against Martinelli, and kept on going Arsenal, and United kept on defending deeper and deeper, and all of a sudden it comes from really a scuffed shot, and Eddie Nketiah, I don't know how. It's just reflexes really, and the fact that he was just stuck a foot out, and the ball went back into the back of the net, and after a VAR check, he was proved not to be offside, and Arsenal score and take a 3-2 lead, and you saw Gareth Southgate in the stands. I think Sky Sports panned to him in the second half, and when Eddie Nketiah is leading the line for the team at the top of the league and scoring goals consistently, linking up play really well, it begs the question: when's he going to get his England call up? Because he's England's under-21's all-time record goal scorer. I think with 17 or 18 goals. I might have got that wrong, but he's playing incredibly well, and I think he deserves it. He deserves the England call-up. I mean, give Eddie the call. I think he definitely deserves it. I mean, in terms of form, consistency, it may be a bit premature because when Jesus comes back, he might be out of the team. But then Arsenal have got plenty of games coming up. They're going to be in the Europa League as well. But at this moment in time, I think Arsenal are going to win the league. They're 5 points clear of Man City. They have a game in hand. And the way they're playing football at this moment in time, I mean, they're a joy to watch. They are an absolute joy to watch. And they're everything I wish Liverpool were at this moment in time. And I've said that before, and I'll say it again because it's just true. The pressing, the passing, the tenacity, the fight, the hunger, everything from this Arsenal team is everything I want from my team. And I think Man United can, on the balance of play, I think they can be a little bit disappointed not to get at least a draw. However, they didn't really do enough. It was a moment of pure quality from Marcus Rashford. It was a set piece from Martinez. And sometimes you get the rub of the green and you get lucky and you get a draw. Sometimes you might get 3 points. But today I definitely thought Arsenal deserved it. And Man United shouldn't be disheartened because of the fact that I think they'll definitely get top 4. And against your rivals, why not go for the 3 points? And they played really well. And I think some players can be a little bit disappointed. I think the fact that McTominay played instead of Fred from the beginning, and McTominay played the whole 90, I was a bit surprised by that. I did think it was almost obvious that Fred was going to play when Casemiro got his yellow card against Crystal Palace. And it would be so interesting to have seen if Casemiro played today, how things would have shaped out. Because I think he's the linchpin in that midfield. He's the defensive midfielder that the whole United fan base were crying out for so long. And I know in the game earlier in the season against Old Trafford, Arsenal didn't have Thomas Partey, so you could say they weren't at full strength. But these two teams at full strength against each other, oh my god, what a game that would be. With Gabriel Jesus for Arsenal, Casemiro for United, maybe Martial for United as well. Although I do think Wout Weghorst did really well today. I think he linked up play really well with Rashford and winning a few flick-on headers. He could have probably won a few more, but I think he did well. Surprisingly, I think Gary Neville said it on commentary, Weghorst actually did better today against Arsenal than he did against Crystal Palace in the game where you thought would be more suited to him. So it shows he's not just a big target man to lump the ball into and head the ball away. I think he's definitely better than that, and I think technically and pressing wise, he's going to have some important games for United coming up in the future. But today, I think we should focus on Arsenal, and mainly Arsenal, because for so long, fans of other clubs have doubted them, and people have said, and even I said to myself, that this week was such an important week. If they could go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and beat Tottenham, which they did comprehensively, and if they could come up against Man United at home, against a team who are in terrific run of form, and if they could beat Man United, then people would say and change their minds that say Arsenal are now favourites. And despite being top of the league for so long, because of the fact that it's Arsenal and the recent seasons of bottling it as soon as more recently as against last season, against losing top 4 against Spurs, I think that Arteta has done wonders with his team, changing the mentality, changing the mindset of these players and the fans as well, to the point where the fans believe Arteta, and the whole playing staff and coaching staff and the club is, from top to bottom, is completely in one line, one vision, one unison, singing off the same hymn sheet. And I think Arsenal will win the league.